Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Hymn and a History. This morning I was in my kitchen, busy as usual. Had to be at church early, so I'm trying to hurry up and get things cleaned up and get breakfast and all that. And I had Alexa playing my praise and worship music, and Lauren Daigle's hymn came on of Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, because after all this week with the snow, trying to, maneuver around in it, trying to get to patients' houses, dealing with 2-hour delays and then school outings and then grocery shoppings and practice and everything in between. It's been a week. If you're following me on Facebook, you saw where I got stuck in a ditch on Friday, and had to wait a couple hours for a tow truck, and thankfully no damage to the car, but the snow just adds to the stress. It may be pretty, but I'm ready for it to melt. But anyway, when that song came on, it just gave me peace, and it just caused me to say, Miriam, just stop whatever you're doing right now and just turn your eyes upon Jesus. Focus in on Him. Whatever else is going on in the world right now, it doesn't matter. It's okay. And I said, okay, well, let's look up the hymn and the history of this song. So I went and looked, and it actually is based upon 2 women. And the first one is from, I'm going to try to say her first name, Lillis Trotter. And she was a missionary to Algeria. Now think about that. In the early 1900s, going over to Algeria and being a missionary to the Islams. I mean, it's hard enough now, but think about what it was like as a woman to go over there. So she would fail the health exam, but the mission board said, if you can support yourself financially, you can go on your own over there. And she did just that. She was a very talented artist, and she would use these gifts to communicate the gospel and to make tracts. And her and another 2 women that she was with would learn Arabic, and then they would convert the women and children from Islam to Christianity. The converts were beaten, they were banished, they were given mind-altering drugs that would cause them to have a paralysis of mind and will, and many of these converts would go on and to their death. And Lillis Trotter, her health was so bad that often she would have to go back to Great Britain to rest and to gain her strength back and to get treated for illness. But she would spend the rest of her 40 years spending them among the Algerians and the Islamic or the Arab Muslims. Here is an example of her artistry. I thought she was very talented. And this is the pamphlet that she would write. It's called Focused, and I believe this is her artwork too. So now we're going to jump in time, and we're going to talk about Helen Lemuel, who wrote Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus. She would deal with tragedy of her own. She was very talented in music, and she would go on to teach at the Moody Bible Institute. But during this time, she was struck with some affliction that caused her to go blind. And her husband, who was ministering with her, could not deal with this, and he would leave her. And so this could cause somebody to be very bitter, but instead this drove Helen farther to the Lord and drove her deeper into her faith. She would go on to write 500 hymns, and a friend had gotten a hold of this tract called Focused, and she was reading it to Helen. And she read these words, and this is what inspired Helen. Turn full your soul's vision to Jesus and look at Him, and a strange dimness will come over all that is apart from Him. And so this would cause Helen to go ahead and write her song. It was originally The Heavenly Vision. I love that. But it picked up more when people were singing it. They drew from Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus. So let me get our words. And I know you know this. And see if these words speak to you like they spoke to me this morning in my hurried rush. Oh, soul, are you weary and troubled? No light in the darkness you see. There's light for a look at the Savior, and life more abundant and free. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of this earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. Well, I hope that will be your focus this week, and hope you can join me for the next Hymn in History.